Good afternoon. The season is back. We've got games to talk about. A thriller in Oklahoma City. Steph Curry says night-night. All of that and more on today's Locked On NBA.
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, welcome back to Locked On NBA. However you're tuning in on YouTube or on your favorite podcast app. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. I'm Wes Goldberg. We're talking today about one of the most fun opening nights in the NBA that I can remember. We're also going to look ahead to a pair of big matchups tonight. We're doing it with the help of Locked On's local experts. I have two of the best with me, as always, from the Locked On Nuggets podcast. He's a senior NBA writer for the Action Network. It's Matt Moore. Matt?
Great night of hoops. NBC did such a phenomenal job with the production. So glad to have the NBA back. I am playing a little hurt today because I went to the media versus the assistant coaches thing for the Nuggets yesterday. Haize, I got dunked on 3 times.
Who dunked on you?
The player assistant development, Cam Griffin, several times. I was the only one willing to run back. So I took the Alonzo Mourning approach, which is nothing easy. So I was there. Did stop 2 of them, which is more than a lot of my colleagues did. Final score in that game across about 4-minute 4-minute segments was 114-16.
Wow.
Didn't
Scored
lose
more
by
than the Boston
100.
media.
Didn't lose by 100.
Small victories. Haize, he's a Bulls and Bears creator over at Bleacher Report, also the host of Locked On Bulls.
I'm just glad that we got some basketball. My team, my secondary team played last night, and all things given, they look pretty good. But we have a vast many things to talk about in regards to the Houston Rockets.
We do. We'll hold Thunder Rockets here, a double overtime thriller for the next segment. But what a way to kick things off. A doubleheader on NBC, like Matt was talking about. We had the Thunder beat the Rockets in double overtime. Then the Warriors beat the Lakers. We'll start with the late game first. Warriors beat the Lakers 119-109. It was one of those games where it felt like everything went right for the Warriors. They got 31 points from Jimmy Butler, 23 from Steph, 17 points from Jonathan Kuminga, who made the start in this game. They outscored the Lakers 35-25 in the third quarter. They made 43% of their threes. Meanwhile, it felt like everything went wrong for the Lakers, who were without LeBron James, who's going to be out for an extended period of time with the sciatica issue. They had 19 turnovers in this one. The only thing that did go right for the Lakers was Luka. He finished the game with 43 points. Haize, did this game say more about the Warriors or did it say more about the Lakers?
Man, that's a great question. I've gone back and forth on this one. Jimmy Butler had himself a night last night, and you got to give credit out to Jimmy Butler in the way that he was able to score consistently in the first and second half. I think the thing that stood out the most to me is that the Kuminga and Jimmy Butler minutes out there on the court together weren't terrible. So I'll say this says more about the Golden State Warriors, mainly because we knew that Luka and Austin Reeves have to work on chemistry. They're incorporating DeAndre Ayton, and LeBron's still not playing. So I'll say, as of right now, this is more about the Warriors.
I'll say it's more about the Lakers. They just look like a mess, man. They just look like an absolute mess. I'm just gonna keep yelling this to the heavens. You can't defend if you have Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic in your starting unit. You can't do it. You're not going to be able to do it. 140 defensive rating last night with Austin Reeves on the floor. And look, that's small sample. I get it. This is a problem, and it's going to continue to be a problem. They need to trade Austin Reeves. It's a difficult situation. I get it. I know how talented a player he is. I'm not saying that he's not talented, but you cannot have the situation where you have this kind of combination of guys giving up 119.7 with Luka and Reeves on the floor together last night. That's unacceptable versus this Warriors team. On top of it, I honestly think the bench was atrocious. Jared Vanderbilt was nothing. Like when Locked On Lakers is actually criticizing Jared Vanderbilt, things have gone wrong because they try to cover for him constantly. The move of starting Gabe Vincent was bad. Jackson Hayes looks unplayable. It's one game. It's fine. I'm just saying I don't buy all of the continuity stuff. Most of these guys were here last year. You made the playoffs with them. This isn't totally new. I was pretty concerned, honestly, by the start for the Lakers.
The Lakers, Austin Reeves and Luka played 29 minutes together. They were -12, a net rating of 20, an offensive rating of 101, a defensive rating of 120, and a 21% turnover percentage while those two are on the court.
Is that good?
That's bad. That's terrible.
Oh, it's bad. I see.
Yeah.
It's bad. Yeah.
It's bad. It's very, very bad.
I want to pick up on that point there because what Matt was saying there before in terms of Locked On Lakers, this was a concern that they had dating back to the preseason.
The lack of cohesion or the difference in cohesion between them and a team like the Warriors that had something of a disconnected training camp themselves, but they've had a lot of guys there for a while. And the foundation of Steph and Draymond, they can run that system with their eyes closed. But when they needed to get it together and get it together for sustained periods in the second half, that's where you see everybody knowing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. Like, you see the difference between that and the Lakers still said heading into this season, and this game certainly didn't change my opinion on it. They felt behind the eight ball from where they wanted to be at the end of training camp and where they are now.
So I'll just my quick take on this. I thought the Lakers couldn't get anything outside of Luka Doncic. Like, there was no offense. Austin Reeves had a couple of nice spurts, but that was basically it. I agree with you, Matt. Like, the Gabe Vincent thing just did not work. But are we being too harsh on the Lakers considering that they were without LeBron James, their second best player? The Warriors were relatively full strength. There was no Moses Moody in this one for them. D'Anthony Melton's going to be out for a while. But are we being a little too harsh on them, Matt?
I mean, we're not saying that the season's over. It was just a bad performance in game one. But I do think home opener, you have time to prepare, right? The preseason stuff is something that everybody in Lakerdom kind of raised some flags about. They were like, hey, these guys have not played in preseason at all. And they just were taking a hyper cautious approach. And so a lot of this is just like, you don't have enough time. Again, we want to go back to this. Training camp needs to be 2 weeks, shorten the schedule, just as always, our standard stuff here on Locked On NBA Daily. Can I ask this question? Look, I get it. 43 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists. What more do you want the man to do? They had a 105 offensive rating. This wasn't just like they got killed on defense. They got killed on defense too. But they had a 105 offensive rating with Luka on the floor. In the minutes Luka played, they had a 105 offensive rating. I want to see him make his teams better. I would like to see Luka Doncic make his teams better rather than, oh my God, what amazing numbers for Luka Doncic in a loss. Like, Luka in a loss is my nickname for him because he has these amazing performances that don't actually translate. I get it. He's made the finals. I'm not saying he hasn't won in this league. I'm just saying I want to see his ability to raise the floor a little bit more than what we've seen.
Let's move quickly to the Warriors here since we're up against it. They are the team, after all, that won the game. And I thought it was a statement by Jimmy Butler, who took over in the third quarter. He went 16 of 16 from the free throw line. Here's Charlie Walter from Locked On Warriors with more.
Jimmy, always physical. He's strong as a freaking ox, man. And he's getting paid a lot of money to be one of the faces of this league. We assume that he's not because, I mean, the Locked On list came out and he was, 29th on our list, 29th best player in the league. You cannot tell me after a performance like tonight, and he doesn't do this every night. If he had this kind of outing every single night, he wouldn't be 29th. But he picks his spots. But when he puts up performances like he did tonight, you can't tell me he's not one of the 15, 20 best players in this entire league and a dude that should be flirting with an all-star appearance this year. Like, he's still got it. He's so smart, sets hard screens. His hands are everywhere. I mean, I'd love to see the deflections chart. It just seems like he's always in the right spots. He always makes the right pass. He's sitting there waiting for Curry to back cut. Curry back cuts. He finds him with a perfect bounce pass. He just does the right things consistently every single day, man. He had 1 turnover and 4 assists and 31 points. I mean, good God.
Haize, you said this said more about the Warriors. Did you think we've maybe glimpsed a little bit what their ceiling might look like here in this one?
Yeah, I would say a little bit because I'll tell you what, if Jonathan Kuminga is going to be able to play with Jimmy Butler, that does add another dynamic. Having him in the starting lineup, and if Steve Kerr is going to actually trust him, to me that does raise a ceiling. Heck, we were talking yesterday about, I said trade Kuminga for DeMar DeRozan, but if Kuminga is going to be able to play like this consistently with 9 rebounds, 6 assists to steal and contribute while also putting up solid point total, like I do think it raises the ceiling a little bit. I'm not saying it drastically raises it, but I do think it raises it some.
I just keep going back to, I'm sorry, I just keep going back to, yeah, congratulations. This Lakers defense can't stop you.
That's true.
For you. And I'm like, oh man, Jimmy, he just does this. Oh man. And you can't tell me that if he did this every night, so we should just look at the best performances. Like, it was a great game. Like, Jimmy was great because he grifted to the free throw line for 16 attempts. And the refs fell for it last night. So much for physicality being allowed. Buddy Hield in this game, 17 points, 5 3-pointers. Again, like, I'm going to go back to the Lakers. If you're facing a defense that can't keep Buddy Hield off the floor and you're not able to attack him to get him off the court, then you're playing into what the Warriors want. It was a great look. It was a great performance, I thought, by the Warriors. They big boyed him. Like, this was, hey, one of us is a professional team and one of us has a bunch of guys. And it was an impressive performance. And the Warriors definitely, I think, have a lot of momentum on their side. But I want to see things. But boy, Wes, you know how this goes. Isn't the honeymoon sweet with Jimmy Butler?
Jimmy Butler loves the honeymoon phase.
Loves the honeymoon
It was not easy for me to listen to Charlie talk about how much he loves Jimmy Butler because we were having those same conversations in Miami a couple of years ago. And then something happens with him and he decides to not do that anymore. Coming up next. Go ahead.
He's only going to be here for a couple of years, so hopefully, he'll be out by then.
We'll see. He surprised us before. Coming up next, we'll talk about a double overtime thriller between the Thunder and the Rockets. Are these the two best teams in the West? Today's episode of Locked On NBA is brought to you by Prize Picks. This episode, or every day, we make decisions, but on Prize Picks, being right can actually get you paid. Don't miss the excitement of this football season with Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Playing Prize Picks is such a fun, simple way to add more excitement to football. You just pick more or less on player projections like Josh Allen's passing yards or Saquon Barkley's rushing for a touchdown, and you're in the game. Might I recommend maybe Tua go the over on interceptions? I love how quick it is. You can make your lineup in under a minute. My favorite part, Prize Picks just added stacks. So if I want to ride with a player, I can select their pass yards, rush yards, and touchdowns all in one lineup. And the new injury reboot feature, if your player leaves early and doesn't return, it's not going to count against you. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNBA for $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Today's episode is brought to you by Built. Nobody likes paying rent, but if you must, you might as well get something for it. That's where Built comes in. Built is changing the game by turning your rent payment into real rewards that you can actually use. When you pay rent through Built, you earn flexible points that can be redeemed toward hundreds of hotels and airlines, a future rent payment, your next Lyft ride, and more. But Built isn't just about rent. It's about rewarding you around your entire neighborhood. I love that with Built, your rent finally works for you. You're earning points every month on something that you already have to pay. Whether I'm grabbing food at my favorite local restaurant or heading to the gym, I'm still earning rewards. Built has made everyday life more rewarding, from your neighborhood to your travel plans. Turn your rent into rewards and start earning points around your neighborhood by going to joinbuilt.com/LockedOnNBA. That's joinbuilt, joinbilt.com/LockedOnNBA. Make sure you use that link so they know we sent you. Welcome back to Locked On NBA. The best way to support the show, hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Follow us on your favorite podcast app. Episodes every day, Monday through Friday. They publish around 1 p.m. Eastern. We're covering the games from the night before, the biggest news, the biggest performances, and we tend to try to spin things forward here. We have a very fun season coming up. But let's go to Oklahoma City, where we had the first game of the season, and when it's all said and done, guys, might end up being the best game of the season. Certainly one of them. A double overtime thriller between the Thunder and the Rockets. By the time this game was over, the first quarter of Lakers-Warriors was already over. This thing went a long time, but it was thrilling throughout. The Rockets led for most of this game. The Thunder come back at the end. Big second half from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And then at the end of regulation, Kevin Durant gets away with calling a timeout that the Rockets didn't have. The officials miss it. They skate by, no technical fouls that could have sent the Thunder to the line for the game-winning free throws. Instead, we go to overtime, then we go to a second overtime, and then Kevin Durant again with a chance to extend the lead at the free throw line, misses one of the free throws. Then on the other end, SGA draws a foul on Kevin Durant, and he makes both of his free throws to win the game. After the game, Durant said, quote, "I missed the free throws, and I fouled somebody at the end. I think those two plays are the reason we lost," end quote. Matt, do you agree with Kevin Durant that he should be the one shouldering the blame for this loss?
I guess like it's a opening night loss, so I think it's one of those where KD's happy to take the loss for this one. Like, sure, fouled out, wasn't able to convert enough. People were really frustrated that he wasn't getting the ball, even though Alperen Şengün I thought was doing a terrific job kind of attacking. And like Amen Thompson, I think you want him being aggressive in those type of situations. So I wasn't necessarily like it has to be KD every single time out. Don't blame him for getting caught on that Shai up and under. It's a really tough post move. Like that's just like that's the MVP doing MVP stuff there. So I wasn't necessarily kind of bothered by that. For me, so Rockets hung in. This is a really good performance, but they had so much clunkiness offensively. Like Şengün covered up for a lot of it. I keep going back to the question of whether or not this team is going to need another ball handler, whether it's CJ McCollum or Colin Sexton or somebody else. I do kind of wonder if there's going to have to be a trade done for a point guard to help them out. Haize, in combination with that, I thought it was notable. No extension for Tari Eason on Monday. So now you got Eason. They didn't offer him a contract extension. If another team is like, "Hey, we'd love to have you. Like, we'd love to have you long term," that might be the pathway for them to be able to use that as a trade chip along with whatever else to get the point guard that they need. But I think they're going to need another ball handler. I thought Men was great early, but as the game wore on, he and Shepherd, I just do not think is enough ball handling for what they're going to need.
Yeah, I mean, Alperen started off the game very slow in that first quarter. He came on as he got better and better each quarter that went on as Amen kind of tapered off as far as offensively. I even think Amen, like guarding Shai for most of the night, he did a pretty good job. I mean, Shai had 5 points. I think the total of the first half of the game, they had 30 points in just the second half. So, it is what it is there. You win some, you lose some. But I agree with you on the ball handling. The ball handling aspect it was better than I was expecting because I thought it was going to be, I texted you guys, I thought it was going to be an absolute disaster. Considering they're against the OKC Thunder, we've talked about how getting turnovers is literally part of their skill set. It's not just luck. So they did better than I was expecting. But I believe Mark Stein said a couple of weeks ago that the Rockets plan on giving it to about December to evaluate what's going on with the ball handling. And if it continues this way, yeah, they're going to have to go out and get another ball handler. The benefit is they have enough assets to trade if somebody's available. It's not that they don't. They'll have to give up something, but they have the assets to go out there and get what they need if they feel like they do.
22 turnovers for the Rockets in that game, just 11 for Oklahoma City. You could argue maybe it was Kevin Durant at the end with the missed free throw, the foul at the end there, or maybe it was just the turnover difference. OKC 10 steals in regulation, which is what they averaged last year in regulation. Despite the loss, though, for the Rockets, Locked On Thunder host Rylan Stiles says that both teams should feel confident coming out of this one.
Each side has to feel great coming out of this game because each side lived up perfectly to the identities of their rosters, especially given the circumstances. So the reason why you feel so confident in both these teams moving forward, the reason why you think that this could be a Western Conference preview is because of what the Rockets did and how the Thunder matched them. Like the Rockets' size, let them dominate inside on the glass, let them get to those second chance opportunities. And it really had the Thunder in fits because they blended their size with off of those rebounds, having hit-ahead passes, getting into transition or semi-transition chances, and not letting the Thunder get into their bread and butter of playing half-court defense and getting set up into their shell.
Matt, you hear Rylan give the Rockets quite a bit of credit there. This game felt like a playoff game, high intensity. Again, one of the best games, one of the best opening nights that we can remember. But are these clearly now the top two teams in the West, or are we maybe overlooking the team that you cover?
Rylan is just, he's too vanilla, man. The team won the championship, raised the banner, beat the big rival. KD, in a manner of speaking, kind of choked a little bit. And you're just like, oh man, they're so great. And come on, Rylan, step it up, man. Do it for the content. I'm not willing to put the Rockets there yet. Now, look, I think Şengün's level up is significant. Like, I think he's looking like the kind of long shot MVP that I tapped him as in preseason. But I do think that the Nuggets have an opportunity. Like, I think it'll be that game on Thursday is going to be very interesting because the Nuggets have a lot of new pieces and might face the same problems the Lakers had with cohesion. They're on the road in Golden State for the home opener. But if Denver goes in there and wins that game, I feel like that's a pretty good statement as well. And a lot of this is like, hey, the Rockets did all this, that, and the other, and they still came up short. So to me, I don't think the Thunder played anything close to a good game last night, and they still got the win. So I am not ready to crown the Rockets as on the tier. I will say though, Haize, one of my takeaways from last night, don't think the Thunder are, at least right now without J-Dub, invulnerable. I think that they looked beatable last night. They looked like a normal team versus last year's death squad.
Well, I don't even think they were necessarily unbeatable. I mean, you saw how the last two series went for them in the playoffs and then in the finals. Like the Thunder can be beat. Now you need to shoot the ball well and play solid defense. So yeah, I mean they look good, but listen, for a team in the Thunder to have one training camp together and it look that good against the defending NBA champions, I do think the Rockets are going to be they're the two best teams in the Western Conference, still proven otherwise. Like there are some really good teams. Denver is going to be right there, and they're going to make a great case for it. But this Rockets team, with as many turnovers as they had, and we know that they can get better, and that you can refine that over time. You would hope so that you're not going to have 20+ turnovers every single night. Like the defense is still legit. Amin is still a terror on defense. As Kevin Durant gets more used to playing off these, you had big shots from Jabari and stuff last night as well. You could see how these players, as they learn to play off Kevin Durant, like that offense could be really, really solid. So I'd say as it stands right now, yeah, they look like they're going to be the two best teams in the Western Conference, but never count out Denver.
Maybe these are the two best teams in the West. Maybe this was a preview of the Western Conference Finals. Coming up next, we might be getting a preview of the Eastern Conference Finals. Tonight, we look ahead to Cavs Knicks, plus Cooper Flagg versus Victor Wembanyama. We'll talk about that next. Today's episode of Locked On NBA is brought to you by Rougiette. Let's be real. Making excuses doesn't solve anything. We've all heard them before. It's just stress, I'm tired, or it happens to everybody sometimes. But when it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little extra support, and that's where Rougiette comes in. Rougiette.com offers fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. Rougiette makes it easy to get started. You just connect with a board-certified doctor 100% online. No awkward waiting rooms, no in-person appointments. And if prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly straight to your door. The process is fast, simple, and private, and it's all handled by real doctors. It's all about confidence, connection, and getting back to the moments that matter. Visit Rougiette, RUGIET.com/LockedOnNBA to get 15% off your first order. That's Rougiette.com/LockedOnNBA. And don't forget to use our code LockedOnNBA so they know we sent you. Rougiette, stop making excuses and start making moves. Welcome back to Locked On NBA Daily, your first listen every day. The Locked On Podcast Network has a show for every team. Go check out Locked On Warriors, Locked On Lakers, Locked On Rockets, Locked On Thunder for their reactions to last night's doubleheader. Also, make sure that you're tuning in daily to Locked On NBA Game Night as they whip around the league and cover every single game every single night. Let's look ahead to tonight's national TV games. We have the Cavs at the Knicks and the Spurs at the Mavericks, both games on ESPN. Let's start in New York, where the Cavaliers are 1.5 point favorites on the road, according to FanDuel. Matt, what are you watching for in this one?
Knicks without Mitchell Robinson, not awesome to start off that way. No Josh Hart either. So are they going to be able to? What do the Knicks look like if they don't have a rebounding advantage? Does Mike Brown's offense mean that they can actually keep up with the Cavaliers, who don't have Darius Garland or Max Strus? Really, for me, a lot of this is watching Evan Mobley to see how much his game has advanced over the summer, like what we're going to see from him going forward, and then of course, Dean Wade. It's the Dean Wade show. Dean Wade show, Haize.
That show's gonna get no ratings, like Alien Earth. With that said, I think in this one, you hit the nail on the head. It's Evan Mobley. We talked a lot about Evan Mobley over this summer, about him making that next step and what that can do to the Cleveland Cavaliers, especially when you have Jared Allen, Evan Mobley. They're missing some bigs on New York side. I'm really looking for Evan Mobley to have a big game. And then I'll say selfishly, just one of my favorite players. His journey has been great as far as getting back on the basketball court. Lonzo Ball. And I, what he can provide in his minutes to help, because he can play with Garland, he can play with Donovan Mitchell, and as the season goes on, I think that's going to be really important for that team to have a guard that can come in and play with either one of those guys and still push the pace. And Lonzo is going to could be really important for Evan Mobley in the minutes that he plays with there, as far as getting him extra shots and making those good passes. So there's a lot there. The Cavs overall, though, to me, they should be favored in this game. It's going to be a fun game. I don't know if it's going to live up to what we had to open up last night, but it should be a fun game between these two teams.
You have also two teams maybe shifting identities a little bit here, Matt. You talked about when we did our defensive rating predictions that the Cavs wanted to maybe shift things more towards defense, even if that maybe cost them a little bit offensively. And with Mike Brown now the head coach of the New York Knicks, we're seeing Jalen Brunson stand in the corner in a preseason game. We're seeing Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby have more offense run through them and to them. So, you're going to have the Knicks maybe reshaping things offensively a little bit, the Cavaliers reshaping things defensively a little bit to see how those two teams look going up against each other in, again, what could be is the favorite right now to be the Eastern Conference Finals. I think all that will be interesting at Madison Square Garden. Let's look at the next game here. We'll go to Dallas. Cooper Flagg and the Mavericks are 2.5-point favorites at home over Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs. Haize, number one, I'm a little surprised that the Mavericks are favorites, but maybe I shouldn't be. But what's the matchup that you're keeping an eye on here?
Man, Wemby versus whoever guards him. I think that's the key matchup. Whatever those minutes and whoever he's guarding at any given time, that's the matchup that I'm going to be looking for. And then just Cooper and what he does with all the tools that he has in that shed. How much do we see early on in the season against this team? Because the Spurs are going to have a lot of kind of wings and guards to throw at him. So we'll see how that works out. But, of course, it's going to be Wemby, the first matchup that I'll watch.
Boring. You're talking about Wembanyama and Cooper Flagg. Let's talk about Julian Champagnie. Okay, let's talk about the ability to hit some threes from the outside, because that 3-point game is actually going to be huge in this game. Mavericks have a big lineup. They are playing big. They want to play defense, but the problem is going to be generating threes. And San Antonio actually in preseason has surprisingly been a pretty balanced 3-point team, where you've got Julian Champagnie, you've got Lindy Waters III, Stephon Castle actually made 3.4 per 36 minutes, shot 50% from three in preseason. It's preseason, who cares? But it's a good sign. Like, it's not a bad sign. That's all I'm really trying to avoid there. Wembanyama takes more threes than you'd expect, and Devin Vassell was pretty good. Keldon Johnson had a great preseason as well. I do kind of wonder if that's going to be the deciding factor in this game, that you're just going to see if the Mavericks are going to clog the paint and the Spurs are able to hit from the outside. That's a really good formula for them to steal this game. I do think the Mavericks should be favored. I have this 3.4, but I do think that the way for this to go the Spurs way is if they're able to hit threes while the Mavericks are stuck throwing rocks.
Worth noting, De'Aaron Fox out in this game with a right hamstring strain. Daniel Gafford is doubtful for Dallas as he deals with a right ankle sprain. Let's make some picks here before we get out of here. 2 primetime games, ESPN. Let's talk Eastern Conference Finals, potential preview, Knicks, Cavs. Do we want to make a pick here, Matt?
I'm going to say the Knicks. Cavs are small favorites. They opened as dogs, moved to favorites. But I actually think the Knicks have a pretty good spot here. They're good at home. Even without Mitchell Robinson, I think there's a pretty good shot here. Cavs are incorporating a little bit of new personnel here. Not new. Guys that haven't played as much, they're moving into bigger roles. There's not like a lot of, Lonzo's new. But I do think that without Darius Garland, maybe this moves a little bit more towards the Knicks. I'll say the Knicks get the win here.
Yeah, no Darius Garland, no Max Strus in this game either does, raise some questions. But I still, that front court depth of the Cavs, I still trust that. I've had my problems with Donovan Mitchell over the years as a player, but that's kind of subsided some. I'll go Cavs here. I think Cavs win by 5.
I like Donovan Mitchell in Madison Square Garden. I'm going to go Cleveland here, also on the road. Let's pick the Spurs versus the Mavericks, Matt.
I'll take Spurs. They win with 3-point shooting. they're able to just eke out the win, and everyone kind of wonders like what's going to happen with this Mavericks team offensively. Anthony Davis, monster game in a loss, much like the guy he was traded for.
Never misses a shot to take a dig. I'll actually agree with Matt on this one. I think Spurs take this one. Yeah, I like, of course, Wemby, and I just think that they're going to be coming in this game. They're really good coach, really good balance. I think the Spurs take this one.
Between the two teams, point guard injuries and things like that, I'm not really sure who's running offense for these teams effectively, who's getting to the paint, especially with the rim protection presence on both of these squads. I'm going to take the under. Matt, do you have the over the point total readily available? Because whatever it is, I'm taking the under on it.
Yeah, 224.5 is your number.
I'm going under. That's my pick.
You want a rock? You're predicting a rock fight.
I'm predicting a rock fight. And you know what? I'm here for it. The rock fight versus Houston and OKC. That was a fun rock fight. If you like what you heard today, subscribe to Locked On NBA wherever you get your podcasts, including on YouTube. Thank you to Matt and Haize for their expertise every day. Thank you for making Locked On NBA your first listen. We're going to see you right back here tomorrow on Locked On NBA.